Welcome back to another episode of the Dreamers Podcast. We are back with episode 14, and this time we're bringing you another great doctor along with us who will share his journey and tell you guys more about his specialty, which is interventional cardiology. I'll let Mani take over.
Yeah, and today we're actually honored by Dr. Mikhail Narezkin, an interventional cardiologist with Houston Methodist, where he specializes in the diagnostic and treatment of complex cardiovascular diseases. Dr. Narezkin is a board-certified in internal medicine, cardiovascular disease, and interventional cardiology, reflecting his deep expertise in both clinical and procedural aspects of heart care.
And known for his patient-centered approach and commitment to high-quality care, Dr. Narezkin combines technical precision with compassionate medicine, ensuring that each patient receives personalized treatment backed by the latest advancement in cardiovascular care.
Dr. Narezkin, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me, guys. I've never been introduced for so long, so that was the first one.
You have a big resume. I was looking through all your resume. You have a really impressive resume. So thank you for coming on. Yeah,
thank you.
And I guess we'll go to this first segment is kind of your journey. I want to talk about what made you want to go into medicine, especially in your early college, high school years.
I was listening to your guys' podcast, and I think you had some of the foreign doctors, but my journey was a little unique in the way that, I was born and raised outside the United States. I was born and raised in Russia. And the medicine journey there is different in the way that you finish high school and you go straight to higher education, like university. So we don't have college.
Okay.
And you graduate high school, you're 17, and you need to make a life decision where you want to go. Yeah. And the decision point when you're 17 is either you go to some sort of university, be an engineer, doctor, lawyer, you name it, or some skill profession, or you get drafted to army. I definitely knew that I did not want to go to army right away. Yeah. So then I was like, okay, which profession should I go? My parents are doctors, but they're never kind of pushing me like, you have to be a doctor, you have to be a doctor. They kind of let me free flow, decide what I want to do. I was really into chemistry during my high school. I was really into physics and math. I was kind of thinking maybe engineer or some chemist or something. But when it came to the point, okay, we need to decide, they're like, well, maybe you should try medicine. And obviously my parents are a great example. They're great. And yeah, sure, why not? Let's try that. But
were your parents also interventional cardiology?
No, my dad is a surgeon. He's a general surgeon, and my mom is OB-GYN.
Okay.
Yeah. So nobody. Well, my sister eventually became a cardiologist too. So, but nobody.
Family.
Yeah. But the point is that in other countries, you don't have an opportunity to take a gap year, think about life, travel. Sometimes you just have to make a life decision. Yeah. And that brings to the challenges that a lot of, and you're not alone. A lot of my school classmates in first year or second year, like, oh, this is not for me. This is the wrong decision, and then they kind of, committed already. It's hard to quit in the middle of the way. So, but no, as I was going, I was like, oh, I think I made the right choice. Yeah, seeing patients and seeing how this works, working more with my dad. That was very enlightening and satisfying, and it was an acquired taste for me. Initially, I was not sure, but then as I kept going, like, oh yeah, that's really what I want to do, and I kind of got lucky that I chose that.
I think that's good to hear too, because you weren't sure in the beginning. That's how most people are. Is like, okay, am I sure about medicine? Yeah. But as you went on, you became acquired taste, like you said.
Acquired taste, and you always listen to hear the stories. Oh, I knew I want to be a doctor from diapers. Especially during residency interview, students like to tell that story.
Yeah.
But no, oftentimes I think it's as I said, acquired taste, and you need to warm up to the idea. And unfortunately, a lot of people lose that passion in midway and quit med schools or get the degree and never work as doctors. There are plenty of stories like that.
I feel like that's another reason why in the US they normalize the gap year situation now, because it gives you some time to maybe still be involved in medicine and research or some other shadowing doctors and a clinical experience, so you can get to have an idea for yourself. Is this something that you want to commit to, or are you really passionate about? So I really like that idea, but I wanted to ask, how long is the medical school or medical school?
Yeah, it's 6 years, and it's very formalized. Basically, the first 2-3 years is what you guys do in college here. It's philosophy and basic science, but it's very deep. It gives like a very, very deep foundation. I think schools there provide much more thorough foundation and a little less clinical application as you pass through. Whereas here, as I was going kind of through steps and preparation, I realized that here it's more practical approach. They don't go into as many details when they study biochemistry or physiology. Where there it's like you go through basics first, and then you kind of start building bricks by bricks on your foundation.
Here, like undergrad is 4 years of all year, I guess schooling and everything, where you go on into the hard shit or organic chemistry, biochemistry and stuff. But once you go to med school, it's more of a clinical approach, right? I do appreciate where you kind of go into it and it's more structured too, which I actually like med schools here based off of that. And I guess next question I would have is, why cardiology, especially interventional cardiology?
So cardiology makes a lot of sense out of all things in medicine, and cardiology follows simple rules of hemodynamics and physics. It's basically pumps and plumbing. And as I told you guys, I was really into physics, and whichever made most sense to me. It was very easy for me to practice and follow, and actually really easy to explain to patients. Like, okay, this is no rocket science, to be honest with you. Yeah. So that's how I end up with cardiology. And interventional cardiology, there are few fields in medicine where you can see the effect of your work pretty much instantaneously. Obviously, all doctors provide care and provide some effect on people's life and patients' life, but some fields you can instantly change someone's life. You have that privilege. Ophthalmology being one. People come to ophthalmology surgery, they cannot see, and in 5 minutes they can see the world in bright colors. Interventional cardiology can deliver the same. Oftentimes, people come, with massive heart attacks, dying, and with minimal invasive procedure, basically an IV, we can kind of fix them in 20-30 minutes, and they can walk off the table. Very, very rewarding, and that gives you a really easy sense of life, and
I think technology has a long way too for cardiology, especially.
Especially for interventional cardiology.
Because I feel like back in the day it was like open heart surgery, open them up. Now it's like you can go through the artery. So many different ways to approach. So I actually, technology-wise, I know he was interested in cardiology.
When I started with pre-med, cardiology was number one for me. I think I still am very much interested in it, but I would like to get to know your opinion on what your day-to-day life looks like, because I heard the work hours are pretty intense for interventional cardiologists or cardiology in general.
So the beauty of being a doctor, at least there's still places, and majority of the places, is that you still can guide and dictate your schedule. If you have passion for working, 14 hours a day, do that. But if you want to work 8 to 5, 9 to 5, limit hours, pick up kids, you can still do that in either field, interventional cardiology or general medicine or whatever. But you just need to know how to set your boundaries.
No, that's a really good answer. So I still have it as my top 3 specialties that for now that I'm interested in, but I'm going into medical school with an open mind, and I know it could change, because medical school I have 4 years, and I can make up my mind at the end of it to see where I'm more interested in. It could be completely different.
You never know, because we've heard stories of people going in doing orthopedics and then go OB/GYN. It's completely different how your med school can change your perspective on what you want to do specialty wise.
Well, I was a surgeon, if you guys look So before I became cardiologist, I was a trained general surgeon. Well, I was in Russia. I finished my med school, and I did residency, and I got certified. I was kind of following my dad's path. And I was practicing for a year, and then I realized, okay, this is not for me. And I want to do something less invasive, much more kind of gratifying, and much more clean. Because general surgery, you always work in pus and mud and blood and big surgeries and hard to see effects right away and
like there are a lot of losses that you may go through. It could be
so
very overwhelming.
And as people change specialty, people realize that it's not really.
Because you're the first doctor that I get to have a conversation with who told me who changed their specialty. So that's really nice to see that there is an option
for that. I've never heard of a doctor do that. So actually, it's good that you're talking about.
No, you guys gonna meet a lot of people on your path. A lot of people change their whole careers in their 30s, 40s. I had friends in the residency who were very successful lawyers, partner lawyers, and they quit and they went to med school.
Oh, wow.
Very successful engineers and chemists. I had a co-resident who was 50 years old and he was going through internship with me. Yeah, he just started med school. And he
met a 40-year-old fireman that was MS1, first year med school, 20 years of firefighting, and he was 40 years old, MS1. Like, it was such a, for me, that was like a relief because I was like, in our, I guess,
there's so much
pressure to just go straight into med school. But I feel like it's dying down now. It's more of a, like, choose what you want to do, explore other options. And I think that's like a good, healthy mindset to have.
Oh, that's why America is truly the land of opportunity.
Yeah, of course.
It's not something which would be possible.
Yeah,
I'm from
100%. Believe that too.
So now I'm going to get into the second segment, which is more about the doctor's mind. And I want to ask you, during your medical training or in Russia and in the US, was there ever a patient or moment during that really changed you, how you approach medicine today?
So every patient tells a story. And I feel like most challenging in medicine and in patient interaction is actually their social, not background, but what's happening in their life. Because all said and done, a lot of things in medicine can be fixed with surgery, medicine progressed. We can fix a lot, but there are a lot on top of that happening in their lives. And it is always a challenge to figure out what's the barrier for people to follow instructions and get surgeries and take medications. And unless you kind of break the ice and become, part of their, not family, but part of their trust circuit, they might never let you in and you might never break the code. With that in mind, I stop watching any drama. Once I go home, I only watch any entertainment, only entertainment shows and movies, because I have so much here at work. You hear stories which no movie can describe and can come up with. So one particular case which made me realize that there is much more in medicine or in patient doctor interaction beyond, labs and imaging and just objective data. Is I had two sister patients. One had chronic heart disease, one had chronic lung disease, and they were underinsured or uninsured, and they were living off Social Security benefits, and they were basically coming in the hospital every 3 months. And they come with acute phase of their disease. First month comes one sister with heart disease, with heart failure. We treat her, she goes home. Then comes the next sister, and then they kind of take a gap month, and then the circle continues. That was during my residency. And they're never letting us understand why that happens, because we were trying to break the vicious cycle until one day, like, we're very shy and we're very sad to say, but we have the third sister and we're living off one social income. And I have heart disease, my sister has lung disease, and the third sister is a drug addict. So we decided, okay, this is what we have to deal with. So we split our social benefits. Each month, one sister gets their benefits and spend it as they wish. So, you can imagine where the money goes. And that's how one was getting exacerbations on every 2 or 3 months schedule. And that's how you realize, okay, there's so much more beyond me, ordering tests and giving medicine. Yeah. So, and sometimes you try to help with personal life. So that's the trick.
It's great that your doctors are empathetic enough to even care for them, because that's what you want from your doctors. And the day is someone who cares for you, right?
Yeah.
It's such a trusting relationship between you and your patient.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you value that so much.
Yeah.
I think that's actually key to care. The interpersonal communication is like 90% of success. So you can be super skilled, super smart, but if you cannot deliver the message, and if you're cold and a bottom line doctor, you just order without explaining, that's not the prescription for success.
I love that. And speaking of this, I did go through some of your patient reviews, and they were all amazing. And you have a very high rating.
Thank you.
And I would like to read one of the patient reviews for you. This patient said, he walked in with a smile, allowed me to answer his questions without interrupting, and made me feel at ease. How intentional are you about that side of care, the bedside manner, especially in such a high, fast-paced, demanding field like interventional cardiology?
Yeah, if you want to succeed and deliver your message, you have to spend time and not be rushed. I actually learned that from my dad, because he's a surgeon. He was always like to sit down next to the patient, grab a chair, sit down next to the patient's bed, and spend as much time and that's the trick I learned from him. And
I feel like not a lot of surgeons, especially, do that, because it's such a high-paced field that they're in and out of one patient to the other patient.
So no, that's my style, and not everybody does that. You can go through much more patients if you don't spend as much time with that patient. But I more value quality rather than quantity. All doctors value quality, obviously, but it's kind of, I guess, it's easier to deliver quality if you spend more time.
I love that. I think that's what makes you a great doctor. That's why you had such a high rating.
We're going through all the reviews. We're like, every single one's amazing. Each one.
They're just filtered.
But that's amazing. My next question to you is, have you ever had a moment where you doubted your decision in real time, and how did you handle that situation?
All the time. We're operating physicians. If you don't doubt yourself, if you're super confident or even cocky, that's the prescription for failure. So you always have to doubt yourself. And I think for you future doctors, the best advice is to never be shy to ask an opinion from your peer or mentor or a friend or a colleague. It's always good to put second set of eyes on the case. For us, it's angiograms or heart pictures. Never be too arrogant to think that, okay, I know it all. I've been practicing for 5-10 years. My mentors who have been doing this for 20-25 years, they still ask for a second opinion from their mentors. And this is how you deal with doubt situations. But oftentimes, in cases of emergencies, when you doubt yourself, oftentimes training comes into place and experience comes into place. You kind of know, okay, this is the path to go. You have that inner sense, but you just also need to accept that you're not going to be right all the time. You're going to make mistakes. Statistics is firm science. If you do this long enough, your statistic catches up. So all doctors who do interventions and non-interventional doctors will have wrong decisions, wrong mistakes. But as long as you come with the idea to provide the best care possible and do your best job, that's how at the end you're not gonna grind yourself. Okay, I could have done something.
This saying is like, great doctors ask a lot of questions.
The problem comes not from doctors who doubt themselves or who don't know much. Problem comes with doctors who think they do know everything.
It's nice to have humbleness.
I like this. Genius humble.
That was my birthday present.
Would you like to tell the audience what sign you had on the desk?
On the desk of humble genius. I
love that. It shows how important teamwork is, and even the best doctors out there always, take advices from your peers and your mentors, and it's nice to have that. But with that, we'll move on to our third segment.
And also, it's one other question, because you do work in a clinic setting. How important is it to treat your other coworkers with so much respect? Because I know some doctors lose sight of that.
I believe that it's always a team effort, starting from janitor who keeps our offices nice and clean for the patients, obviously assistants and nurses and doctors and managers. It's not just the doctor who comes. Without all this support, I would not be able to provide any care. Without my nurses, I don't know how my patients end up on my table. To be honest with you, I just ask them, "Hey, can you please set it up?" And they set up all the logistics. So I appreciate that, and I always tell my patients, it's not this review should go to my staff. It's a team effort. So
what they say is like how you can know if a man is good or not is how they treat servers at a restaurant.
Exactly.
For doctors, it's like how you would know if the doctor is good or not.
Treats their nurses,
how they treat their staff.
Yeah. They're, these are old adults. They come to work, and the chemistry at work is very important. It can be suffering experience, or it can be pleasant experience if you joke around and notice and ask about their families and, be normal human.
I love that.
I guess the next question, I want to talk about you foreign, because you came from Russia originally. You went to Smolensk State Medical University. How was, we did kind of talk about schooling, 6 years over there. More or less the transition that you went from there to San Diego to residency. How was that?
Well, that was one of the challenges, obviously. Well, to get to San Diego first and to transition from, heart of Russia to California. Was obviously one of the dreams to eventually work and live on the ocean shore. That's what kind of motivated me to retake all the exams and study hard and get to San Diego. But the hardest part was obviously social and life transition, because you come, it's a foreign language. I was kind of not successful, but I was on path to success in Russia. I was really practicing. I had friends and family and you name it. I was just going through normal life, and you just give up everything and you go to another country, no family, no friends, and you start from scratch. And it was just adventurous that time. I was young and I didn't have any strong binds like immediate family. I didn't have wife or kids at that point. But the hardest part was to rebuild the social network, friends, learn conversation English, because when I was studying for exams, you only learn medical English. Just watching those lectures and practicing with those, fake patients and watching scrubs. But when you come,
I think that was Grey's Anatomy for us at the time.
Well, I kind of tried Grey's Anatomy, but the plot was not good for me. So Scrubs was much better. Yeah, the hardest part was to start conversation and finding friends, because I'm very social. I had so many friends, and that's the part which was kind of hanging on me, and I need some social circuit, social network, and going to the restaurants and bars. It was hard to communicate with people because they speak very fast lingo. It's a loud environment, and you always ask and to repeat again and again. And that annoys people. Like, well,
especially American.
Like this weirdo. Just leave him alone. So I had to kind of work on that, and I had to practice my language that way. So that was the biggest challenge, but I kind of overcame that within the first, 3-4 months.
That's good. And because that's the thing, he moved from Pakistan to the US years ago.
I think about 12 years ago.
And the biggest difference is the dialect, because you can learn English, but the American dialect is sometimes very different. It's very fast paced. Americans are sometimes rude. I'll admit it. They're very rude sometimes.
It was very difficult for me to adapt in the first 2 years as well. But then I used to play sports, so I think that kind of helped me get a little more confident and more comfortable with making friends and stuff. But
the social aspect is very difficult, right? Because different country, families left behind. Did you ever feel homesick at all, or no?
Initially, I was very homesick, mainly because I left everything. But as I think the first year passed by, I was like, okay, this can work out. This can.
And then, did you have any mentors or peers in the San Diego during your residency period that still maintain today?
Yeah, I think I met my best American friend there. His name is Tim, and we're still very close. And he was kind of guide into American culture and young peers culture, so to say. Yeah, I had some great clinical mentors in cardiology. Dr. Anthony DeMaria is one of them. He's extremely famous, and I was blessed to meet him, and blessed that I can call him my mentor. I still stay in touch every time I go to San Diego. I try to stop by, and we these days we just chat about life and kids and what's going on. But my sister was a great mentor too. I mentioned that she's in cardiology. She actually did that path before me, five years before me. So she kind of laid the pathway.
And is she practicing in the US?
Yeah, she's practicing in California, in San Diego, actually. Yeah. So that obviously helped tremendously.
Your parents must be very proud of both of you.
Yeah, they're happy. They're happy.
Move on to the last segment.
Yeah.
Perfect. My last segment will be more about your specific fields, interventional cardiology. And my first question to you is, for someone trying to choose a specialty, a medical student that needs to sign up for residency soon or fill out the spots, what makes interventional cardiology different from everything else?
Different from everything else? Well, I guess as I mentioned before, it's one of the fields where you can get instant reward, very gratifying field. You can drive home and feel like, okay, today I helped somebody, I truly helped somebody. And any surgical environment is usually kind of fast-paced, fun environment. Not to the point that you like an adrenaline junkie like ER doctors, but you're going to face some challenges every day. And if it's something for you, if you don't want to have kind of less stable, not boring, but more stable day to day, interventional might be for you, because you never know what you're going to encounter with your procedures. Yeah, it's just a fun field. Oftentimes I just don't believe that I'm getting paid for doing this, because it's so cool. Yeah.
Is it like a puzzle for you think?
Puzzle? No, I won't say game, but it can be entertaining.
Okay.
Yeah, it can be challenging. Yeah.
We have sometimes doctor refer to, like, I think we had the Baylor VP talk about, sometimes it could be like a orchestra or a jazz band. So medicine or some specialty specifically.
Well, probably more jazz band.
Jazz band?
Yeah.
That's nice. And I know that before our podcast today, you had a case that you were working on, or a procedure that you needed to complete.
Yeah.
Can you walk us through what that experience is like from your perspective, since when you initially meet your patient and then when you perform the procedure and everything? Could you walk us through that?
For us, doing this procedure for 100 times, it becomes a minor procedure. Well, not minor, but common procedure. Day-to-day procedure. We do it every day. And I just mentioned my mentor, Dr. DeMaria, and he was saying that the definition of a minor procedure or small procedure is a procedure not done on you or your relative.
Because for the patient, it's the biggest deal.
Exactly. So I realized that I'm working on being hard, and for them and for us, it's a big deal. So you really need to make them feel comfortable, and walking them through each step really helps the patient to understand what's going on. And I usually lay out how the procedure is going to go, plus all the theoretical possible solutions at the end, so nothing comes as a surprise. And a little bit of anesthesia always helps too.
No, I like it. That's why I feel like bedside manner is so important. And in medicine, a lot of doctors don't value it enough. But what I've seen from like our generation of doctors and coming up, I think they're getting a hang of like how important bedside manner is, because they were the patients themselves and they get to experience. And I would want to have a doctor. I mean, there must be doctors who are very smart, but if they don't have good bedside manner,
for sure,
I wouldn't be too comfortable talking to them or openly, or
Yeah, it's a social aspect too. You want your doctor
very important,
people. And med school actually focusing on that more. We had, I think, I don't know which one. I think U of H Dean of Medicine. He was talking about how the human aspect in your doctor is one of the most important, probably the most important thing you want. And that's what they're looking for in med schools now.
Yeah, I can't agree more.
That's why what I really like about the UH Medical School, it's a very new school. They just had last year, they had their first cohort graduation. But what I like about them is not a lot of med schools are doing it. They start their clinical rotations or some sort of like clinical community activities from the very first year. So we have a couple of our friends that are in their first year at medical school at UH, and they get to go out and have like little community events where they are performing clinical procedures or a little bit of like
helping out the community.
Yeah, which is really nice. Getting to have that exposure that early. So the more exposure you get, the more confident you'll become as a doctor when the time comes. I feel like it's amazing. We'll move on to our last segment.
Actually, one before, I want to talk about research. Are you involved in any research?
Not these days.
Not these days.
Yeah.
In the beginning?
In the beginning, well, I tried that. And as a med student and the resident, you kind of have to do that if you want to get into fields like cardiology and interventional cardiology.
How important would you say is research, and do you need to have like publications and when it comes to med school or residency?
Yeah, you have to have publications. Yeah, it's part of the deal, part of the process, part of the game. You have to demonstrate that you're academically savvy, so to say. Because these days, I think the idea is if you go through some research and you understand how research is done and you understand how statistics works, you'll be able to dissolve and digest papers of your peers, and that's part of the preparation. And I think that's the reason why programs are looking for some research exposures, so they know, okay, this doctor down the road will be able to follow contemporary medicine, contemporary articles, and I think that's the idea behind that, to be honest.
Is there like a minimum amount of papers you need to have, or?
I got away with, I don't know, 4 or 5. So
that's the better.
Well, no, some people love it.
Some people love it.
I really like research, so I feel like whenever I do become a physician, I would want to be involved in somewhat research. It could be clinical studies, or it could be maybe public health research of some sort. But we'll see. I think both of us have been involved in research.
I'm the opposite. I do not.
He does, even though he does research.
I do research. For me, it's more, I like the patient side way more. Clinical side, for me, that's more enjoyable.
I like clinical research. I was working for a clinical research organization during my med school. So that's when you try new drugs on healthy volunteers and patients. So that was interesting. I like that part.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. It's amazing. Yeah.
So I feel like I would want to have some sort of clinical research exposure.
Whichever.
Would be nice. But last
segment. So this could be advice for viewers, because again, you are getting good advice so far. I love all the answers you're giving. You're going to get some good advice for us too, because again, for us, this is a way to get advice for ourselves too sometimes. But for our viewers, what do you think today's students most misunderstand about building a meaningful and fulfilling career in medicine and research?
I think what medical students or students in general misunderstand these days, and I was a part of that, is that the definition of meaningfulness comes from you and not from peers or society. As you go through med school, you think that meaningful career is to be the top of the top, the best. Well, you always want to be the best at what you want to do, but you want to be, high volume operator, complex operator, or write 10 papers a year or be on podiums. I felt like this is a universal definition of success. But then as life goes on, I think people should realize, or at least that's my humble advice, that meaningfulness is, you define what that means. Is it meaningful for you to dedicate all the time and effort to patient care? Yeah, that's meaningfulness. Is it meaningful for you to work 2 weeks a month and travel and enjoy your life? That should be the definition, and you should not be shy about that, and you should not be feeling inferior because you decide that. Is it important for you to be there for your kids and spend time for kids and pick them up from school and be at their games and their practices? Well, and that, cuts the amount of time you spend in the clinic. And if that's your decision, if that's meaningful for you, well, who cares what people think? Yeah. And people should really, well, again, that's my perspective. People should really define for themselves what they want to be, and don't feel like they're doing an inferior job because they're not reaching the expectation of the socium. And there's a
My final question to you, Dr. Narezkin, is for a student listening right now who feels overwhelmed by expectations and uncertain about their future in science or medicine. What is one truth you wish someone had told you when earlier in your journey when you began medicine?
One truth. Well, if I say that it will get better, I will lie. Just different challenge as you progress. I think, as I look back to my student years, this is most enjoyable. Residency and student is like the most enjoyable time of my life. You're young. You guys should enjoy your 20s. 20s are not going to pass by. You need to do well in med school, but don't forget to enjoy life and have fun. And that's important.
I love that because a lot of people, especially in medical, when they go to medical school residency, they forget and all the family, friends time. So I prioritize that a lot for me. Yeah. Family has been very important. Friends have been very important. So it's nice to still take some time, whatever you can, and just give them
mental health and you don't want to drop off and wake up in 6 years with your degree, but there's no memories because my memories from med school and residency are very fulfilled. So I look back and it was a hard time, but it was very enjoyable. As long as you
remember all those times. That's the more important thing, right?
Yeah, as long as you have something to remember outside of textbooks and anatomy lab. Yeah.
And that's what makes you a great doctor too, right?
I don't know about that, but I do my best.
Humble genius. I think that's the end of the podcast. Thank you so much, Dr. Narezkin, for coming on. I feel like taking time out of your day as well. You gave great advice, and honestly, seeing how your journey from Russia to US is motivating to a lot of people that might be listening.
Yeah, everything is possible as long as you dream about that so hard that nobody can take care of you. Exactly. That's exactly what I mentioned.
And to our dreamers listening, remember that you don't need to have everything figured out. Focus on growth, focus on intention, and focus on becoming the best version of yourself. We'll see you guys next time at the Dreamers Podcast.